Hello, so let's continue on creating some data for our planner. I am still, I caught a cold over the weekend, so I'm still recovering, but I have most of my voice back. So, what I want to show today is how we can at least start creating more entries for our planner, like to just have into our data set so that we have something to train on. So in order to do that, I need to pick an app that I actually want to automate. And I think a good app to just kind of start out with is a word processor app. And I don't want to do anything super complicated like trying to navigate Microsoft Word. So instead, I've had Claude vibe code this web app for me to just serve as like a canvas on how we can just pick out some use cases and scenarios to automate through planning. So, for example, changing the font size was one of the plans that we had. Decompose. So, what we had was like to select a drop down and then select the font size that we wanted to increase to. And so this is going to be our surface for taking screenshots and operating in. And here there's like a feature to take that screenshot so that we can actually see. And this will be used for annotation later for the GUI agent side of things. But for now, this is kind of weird. I noticed the bug that this is hex code, but yeah. But for now, we're focused on writing plans. Now, in order to scale in terms of writing plans, I have this UI here. And this UI is basically a basic tool to be able to decompose goals into more granular steps. So in this case here, we have something called make the font size bigger with font size PT. And this is just like sort of like a signal for the LLM during training to understand that this is going to be like a hint that it's going to change a lot. You actually don't need to do it this way. You could actually just do some variations of like, oh, make the font size bigger, 18, 24, or like 36, for example. And the LM should be able to learn it just fine. This is just a pattern that I'm used to. And then to like reinforce even further, you can actually create one where it's concretely a number. So I'll show you that right now. So this is the basic plan that we've seen. Basically, it says ensure the document editing is in view, navigate to that toolbar, locate the font size dropdown, click the font size dropdown, scroll to find font size, and click on this font size. So if I do all that here, it's exactly it's exactly like how you change the font, right? So going back, I can easily clone this to create another entry. And so all this was coded again through a mix of AI generated code and me just fixing things up. This series of videos is not to create like a front end web application or anything like that. It's just to I guess demonstrate a lot of this AI stuff. So going back here, I like to create some concrete examples along with like a general example. So I can go back and I can say, okay, well, instead of font size, I want to say increase it to 24 pt. And I can put that here, put that here too, and save. Oops, get rid of the copy. And so I have another entry. So I have two now. And I can hit review here so that I, as an annotator, will know that this specific example is good. And I can do it again, clone, and this time instead of saying PT, let's just have it as a regular number, and let's do something different and say 32. I think 32 is a font size, right? 32, yeah. So we can say 32 make the font size bigger to be 32. And so we can replace the 24s here with 32. And we have another example. We could also have opposite examples, right? Make the font size smaller. So I can clone this and can have this example say make the font size smaller to be font size PT. And I could do 2 examples for that. So I could hit clone, and I clone the same thing here. In this case, I could say make the font size smaller to 14. And I'll replace font size with 14 everywhere. So you can kind of tell already, like one of our first scenarios that we're going to automate is going to be changing the font size. So to be 12, and we can get rid of that. Then okay, so we have like 6 good entries already created, and the next step is to get even more examples. We can generate variations of these goals, but still have it mapped back to the same steps here. So this is how the LLM can learn how to decompose tasks or user-defined tasks that sound different or seem different but mean the same. So it always should map back to the same set of steps. Okay, so in order to do that, we are going to use our small language model again. In this case, last time we used Quen 1.7b. So I can load that up. I was doing something earlier. 4K context is okay. I don't really want GPU offload since I don't have a GPU anyway, at least yet. Thinking about putting my A4000 to a Thunderbolt enclosure again, just plugging that in for sake of just demonstrating the training part of it. But let me just click remember settings for Quen 3 1.7b, because I think this is what we're gonna go do going forward in the future. So I can just load the model here, and the planner application is hooked up to make connection to the specific server. In this case, it's on my local network, 192.168.1.123 at port 8000, and the model name is Quen 3 1.7b. So going back here, I can generate even more examples now. So I can hit this Gen AI button here, and it's gonna go and try locally on my laptop generate 5 more examples using the small Quen 3 1.7b model. So here, these are interesting ones. It will have increase the font size to blah point, adjust the font size, change the font size, raise the font size, and modify the font size. So this all sounds good to me, so I'll hit create. And what ends up happening now is that we have these new entries here, but they all still map to the same set of instructions if we hit edit. Okay? And in order to create that more variety, I think I should have at that time get rid of, like, find some that just don't have PT, and maybe insert some PX here and there. Like maybe just choose this one to be PX, and then maybe add a space just to have some variety. Okay. Yeah. So increase the font size to what else is a font size? Size. Okay, 14 size. I don't know. Okay, so we have this variety, and we could just do the same thing again for all the others, just for, again, more variety. And we could probably take the opportunity to modify them to be different numbers too. So at least Quen 3 figured that PT meant points. So I am going to just accept that, and maybe go into like 2 of them and just change it to be a different number, just for variety. Okay, so 48, oops, 48, and then maybe this one could be adjust the font size to be, let's say 10. And let's add a space right there. Okay. How about 22 here? We should probably have some small ones too. 11. Modify the font size to be 11. Let's do 11. So you kind of get the point, right? Like this is how we're going to create data for planning for our planner model. Okay. Yeah, let's take this as a base. Actually, to B. Make the font size smaller to B. Yeah, let's take this and just generate some more examples. Scroll up here, so we'll get 5 more examples. And you can adjust, like, well, in your implementation, you can adjust to how many examples you would like. So in this case, reduce, adjust. I think we already have adjust, do we? No, we didn't. Wait, the font size 2. How about, let's say, adjust the font size to be size of. Okay, lower the font size, set the font size to be, change the font size to 12. I think all this should be different from what we had. So let's create. And so now we have all of a sudden 21 examples. So let's edit that, and let's just again give some different numbers so that the LM learns some of the patterns. So this is like a very basic way to create a like data set for a planner. Obviously, like for agentic AI, it's going to be way more complicated and sophisticated, but this will work for like just being able to train an LM on something. Okay. Maybe we can do 8 here. And then I'll be happy. Okay, so we already have our examples for font size. Okay, so I want to get up to about 50 examples. And so I'm going to be doing that real quick right now. And I'll probably do that off camera. So I just created a few more examples regarding headings. If we just pick one right here, select the heading with the heading number 1 option. It's just to locate, navigate to the heading style dropdown, and then to click on the heading style dropdown, locate and move focus to heading with the heading number, and then click on heading number to select it. So it mirrors to this feature here where we move to the heading dropdown and we select one of these options to change the text to be some sort of heading size. So yeah, that's about it. So this is this is our data, small data set, just to see if we can train a basic small language model to generate some tasks based off of these high-level goals. Now, we're going to train the model, and then once we have validated that this approach works, we can start adding more data to expand our data set, and then also have some validation. But right now, I kind of just want to demonstrate like how we would actually take this and have a model actually output variations of these things here. So yeah, so I can export all reviewed plans to be a JSON-L file. I can open this. Let me just open this in Notepad. And so probably not a good idea. Let me open that in Cursor. Or Visual Studio Code. I think it might be easier. Probably renders better. Okay, yeah, there we go. So restricted mode. Just trust. Okay. So we have these JSON-L entries here, and this is actually what we're going to use to ingest and train our model with. So yeah, quick video, but I just wanted to make some progress on this project. So I'll talk to you next time.